On point tonight, and Professor Jason Nichols is here. All right, we've seen the White House now try to pivot to abortion and climate because that is what is key and left for the base. How long can they talk about these issues before the base realizes they can't do anything meaningful because they don't have the votes in Congress?
Well, I think the base already recognizes that, and I think that's reflected in some of the polling that you see. But as far as key demographics, I think that they want to get young people excited, and climate is a real issue. And, you talked about costs, and I think that's, one of the things that I've learned throughout life is that you either pay on the front end or you pay on the back end, where you get extreme weather events, droughts, heat waves, cold weather like we saw in 2021 in Texas. And that, I could go into a little bit of what I know about the science, but a lot of that is caused by some of the climate issues that we have. So, and as far as abortion, we know that that is a major concern, particularly for that coveted demographic of suburban women and for young people. So according to, a new Gallup poll, that's going to motivate more voters than any time since 1992.
And that was Planned Parenthood v. Casey. And whether or not it motivates Republican voters as well, yet to be seen. Always easier to be fighting for something as Democrats would be here. The person who's taken the point now on abortion, kind of late, though, a month after this Roe decision is when the White House has decided to put the vice president on tour about abortion. Here's she Monday to the NCAA, appearing to compare Roe, the overturning of Roe, to slavery. Take a listen.
We know, NAACP, that our country has a history of claiming ownership over human bodies. And today, extremist so-called leaders are criminalizing doctors and punishing women for making health care decisions for themselves. Personal decisions that is her right to make in consultation with her doctor, her pastor, her priest, her rabbi, her loved ones, not her government telling her what to do.
Well, let's not argue either way the veracity of the argument or not, but the rhetoric, which appeared to be coming off a teleprompter, this Politico calls the How Dare They tour. Is that the kind of rhetoric that suburban, mostly white voters who you're going to need to appeal to in these swing states are going to be brought over to the Democratic side by?
Well, I can say this. She was speaking, and I understand she misspoke there, but I think she was speaking to the...
Jason, forgive me. I don't think she misspoke because the White House hasn't walked it back.
No, I'm saying you misspoke. She wasn't speaking to the NCAA.
NAACP, pardon me.
NAACP.
Yes.
So different audience there.
Yeah, no, pardon me.
So she was not speaking to necessarily, suburban white women there. She was speaking to an audience that that would maybe resonate with. I'm not necessarily a fan of comparing things to slavery and the Holocaust, and I think a lot of times that's just a bad move. But Kamala Harris, I think her taking the point on this is actually a good idea politically. I think that she was really hurt by being the point person on immigration, something that hasn't been solved for 4 decades. Yeah. I think that the administration actually hurt her by doing that. And if you
think
want
it was intentional?
No, I think it was just a miscalculation. They wanted to make her seem competent and make her seem ready to take on big challenges and ready to be the next leader of the party. But you don't that's not a good approach. I think the best approach is one that they're taking right now. This is a tough issue, but it's clear for the sides that are involved. And I think she's shown leadership. Apparently, people in local areas are embracing her. She's going around the country to local Democratic leaders. And I think that that's actually working for her politically. And it's also rallying people and coming up with solutions to battle what came down from the
and to your point, it's not actually something you have to solve. It's not really a policy issue. It's going around giving speeches, which is a different thing. Hey, Jason, we got to run, unfortunately, but it's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.